Welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
We're gonna start talking about Season 4 of Mandalorian already. Because Giancarlo Esposito decided to do an interview where he talked a little bit about what's coming.
But isn't he dead?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I mean, I kind of thought, maybe.
Well, we'll kick it off by talking about, we know in Season 3, he died. His character passed away.
Or was it a clone of his?
He lost the fight against the Mandos, who was caught in a giant ship crashing down into him in a big plume of fire.
That usually kills people.
Yeah, so does falling down a chute or getting cut in half. Yeah. Getting stabbed through the stomach. These things usually do kill people.
Sometimes.
But not in Star Wars.
No one's ever really gone in Star Wars.
Well, and of course, there's the theory. We did find out, he was creating Force-sensitive clones of himself, and it looked pretty convincing. And then he didn't have his mustache, which is like...
Mustache Gate.
Which was like the big clue that everyone's like, so, was that you? Was that a clone of you? Force-sensitive or not?
Well, we theorize the first thing a clone of him would do is to kill the original, right?
Would try to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be anywhere near my clones when they got awakened.
You wouldn't want to play Battleship against your clones.
No, you would lie to your clone. You have somebody else
who
works for you.
You've thought this out before.
Have somebody else who works for you wake you up and tell you the original is dead. Now you have no reason to go looking for the original, and the original can monitor you from afar and then kill you if he needs to.
It's disturbing how much you've thought about how you would handle a clone situation. Is there anything I should know?
Well, plus I don't think my clone would want to kill me. I think we would have an understanding.
That's what you think.
Well, that's what they would think as well.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Your clone might outsmart you.
No, we'd be great to watch playing Battleship together, though.
Fleet's just moving all over the place.
I attack that lamp over there. Ha ha! You missed.
Yeah, you'd be taking your ships off the board and putting them throughout the house.
Well, so would they. That's why it'd be perfect. It'd be the greatest game ever. All right, but back to what we were talking about here. Esposito did an interview with The Wrap where he talked about his presence in Season 3 of the show, and that speculation that he may not really ever be gone.
No one is.
Yeah,
ever really.
His possible return for later seasons. And he also kind of explained why he finds Gideon such an exciting character. He said, I liked this character of Moff Gideon for a lot of reasons. One is he controls the chaos like no other. Two is that he's very smart and knows everything. That's a given. And he has abilities. He's not only good with this very foreign object, the Darksaber, that doesn't belong to him but really does fit with him. He's really good with his TIE fighter, and now in this third season, we see him masterminding something that he really wants, not knowing, as an audience, what the true vision is. And that's exciting. The anti-hero is really just a fallen hero. There's a complication about him that I try to live and breathe with when I'm on the set.
I like that he thinks of himself as an anti-hero.
Well, they asked him specifically that about the possibility of him coming back, either as one of his clones or as his actual self, that maybe he wasn't there at all and it was a clone that was killed.
Possibly.
He said, I know nothing about Season 4. Jon hasn't tipped his hat to me. So many fans are like, you were a clone, right? It could be. I trust Jon knows what he's doing. I would love to keep dying and coming back. That'd be my favorite thing of all. There are a lot of ways to go, and I'm open to whatever they have in play.
I really, really liked Gideon in the first 2 seasons.
I did too.
He was subpar in Season 3, but as much as I enjoyed him, and as much as I would kind of like to see him redeem himself, or for it to be a clone, and that explains his kind of over-the-top mustache-twirling villain-esque self in Season 3, sometimes...
Mustacheless.
Yeah, my bad, yes. Sometimes characters just need to die and stay dead.
So we can keep moving the story forward and not just keep going after the same thing over and over?
Yeah, I think we've discussed that it seems probable that Gideon's demise is to propel the Thrawn arc forward.
Right, because we're heading towards a movie. We're heading towards a huge cinematic universe event.
Yeah.
Gideon, you were just a lead-in for Mando.
You were a stepping stone to a greater villain. Who better... You know what I'm saying. I love Thrawn. I just hope Thrawn doesn't have a couple seasons and then go Gideon on us.
Here are my Thrawn clones.
If he grows a mustache, we'll know we're in trouble. It's the opposite.
No.
It's all about the mustache.
Thrawn has Force-sensitive mustache clones?
that would outsmart everybody else, I think. Nobody would be expecting it.
Right.
So perhaps this is Thrawn's plan. I'm, of course, kidding.
What is very interesting, though, about his comment is that in 2020 he did an interview where he told People magazine, we're living in a universe that is huge and there's so much to explore, so I think this show is going to lay the groundwork for the depth and breadth that's going to come in season 3 and 4, where you're really going to get to the answers. Yes.
But how much did he really know
back in 2020 before season 2 premiered?
Yeah.
That's probably... It's been 3 years since then, and Rangers of the New Republic was canceled, with Cara Dune being canceled as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things
I'm sure
changed.
They probably told him the vague ideas they had, right? I'm sure back,
Well, that could also mean that those ideas were rushed. If he thought his character was going to have arc heading into 4.
Yeah, I mean, those are vague. That's a vague response, right? It doesn't really... Of course the show was going to get, bigger and expand and so on.
And so on.
To some degree.
Unless he's bluffing us all. Wahaha.
Maybe.
He's twirling his mustache when he gives the interviews.
Wouldn't it be something if he was?
All right, let's move on to the next talking point today. Andor. Woohoo! Their cast talks more character growth in season 2 and some fan engagement and stuff. We know the Andor cast are currently making their Emmy rounds. Not sure how the Emmys are going to go yet because no actors might be there to accept awards because they could be going on strike at the end of this month.
That'd suck.
It's going to put a lot of delays on a lot of projects. I hope whatever is going on gets resolved.
Strike? Yeah. I don't know. Across
You'd
the
think
line,
they could still go and accept the reward. Come on.
Yeah, it's what you did in the past, right? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know all the rules. I've admitted to that before, so I'm going to let it drop.
But Denise Goh, who plays Deidre Romero, Kyle Solar, who is Cyril Karn. I know those two saying that one back to back. Kyle Solar, Cyril Karn. It's like they just switched the K and the S. It's
Deidre.
And Adria Arjona sat down with Entertainment Weekly in their Dagobah Dispatch, discussing changes to their characters in season 2, mainly because of the sweeping time jumps. Because there's going to be these huge years in between.
Get a couple days, a year off. A couple days, a year off. That's what it sounds like season 2 is going to be.
Yeah. Arjona remarked that the growth we're going to see from Bix in season 2 will be crazy.
Well, at the end of season 1, she was kind of...
It leaves you wondering, though, is she going to, join the rebellion at the end of all this? We don't know yet.
Maybe she joins the Empire. Maybe she's been brainwashed. Dun, dun, dun.
Mm. What her actual quote is, there's a time jump between every couple of episodes. So this season, for me, is super interesting because I get to grow with Bix. And this continues to happen throughout the entire season. So you get to meet, 3 different versions of Bix. There's an anger, I hope, builds in Bix. Whether it's revenge or whether it's a closeness with Cassian because he saved her. Of course she has to lean in. She's always been part of it. And I think by episode 9 of season 1, it was obvious someone must do something. It seems like it would feel like a natural thing for her, I feel like, to join the rebellion. But I can also see maybe personal revenge getting in the way. She watched Tim get killed.
Yeah.
Tim!
I pretty loved Tim.
Not to mention, she had a very, let's just say, charged conversation with Deidre.
Oh, yeah.
Deidre is the one that led to her in her current state.
Yeah, she got to hear the kids.
So what I would love to see is let's put those two back in a room together for season 2 and see what happens when there's no stormtroopers or Imperials in the way.
Well, we saw Deidre isn't exactly the best soldier ever, shall we say?
She's got years to practice, though, now.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
She was done for if it hadn't been for Cyril.
I would just be really interested to see...
She's not the most physically capable character.
She does mention Bix getting angry. Why wouldn't you get angry at Deidre? Specifically, she was the catalyst for a lot of what happened on Ferrix, at least in her eyes. So I would love to see those two duke it out.
You want to see them in a cage match is what it sounds like.
I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens when Bix's rage gets released. Would this be something that she would override her joining the rebellion? This may be a personal need for revenge against the face that she associates with all of her pain?
Maybe.
It could be a really interesting story arc.
It could be Dr. Gorst, too.
It could also be Gorst, but without Deidre, would Gorst be there? No.
I think Gorst would be there anyway.
No, he wouldn't.
But you know what I mean? I think he would be.
But I just think it'd be interesting because that could very well prevent her from joining the rebellion. That could be why we never... Well, and I know it's hindsight and stuff, but it could be why we never see her in Rogue One with the rebellion. Wouldn't she want to work with Cassian?
I think a lot of these characters are going to perish.
I'm just curious what her path will be. I feel like her and Deidre are going to have some sort of a showdown.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's my personal guess. I like to put these personal guesses out there on record. Then when they're right...
Then when they're wrong, you just ignore them and delete the video? Yeah.
But if I'm right...
Then you drag out the video. Yeah, that's how it's done.
And they go, see, everybody? If I make all of the possibilities a theory, I have to be right sometimes.
Yeah, you're like Nostradamus. You just write a ton of predictions, and years later, people will cherry pick the ones that are somewhat accurate.
Kyle Solar, he kind of echoed some of her comments on character growth. He said, there's a year gap before we even start Season 2, so these characters have progressed so much from when we last saw them. Then each character does have about 3 different versions that they wind up continuing to grow through and towards. Cyril is on his kind of journey of trying to reach the upper echelons with the Bureau of Standards. And I'm trying to see whatever happens from that little moment covered at the end of Season 1. Deidre. It's really happening. Because that was the moment at the end of the season.
I thought we all were assuming he was going to be in the Empire, not in the Bureau of Standards still.
Maybe that's just what he wants. He wants to be in the Bureau of Standards. Maybe he still can't get in the Empire.
Maybe.
Or maybe they don't want to give away what he's actually up to.
Yeah, he could just be...
he could just be,
playing dumb, in a way.
But in the little bit we saw of the trailer that we weren't actually getting to see, he wasn't ever dressed in an Empire's uniform. He was dressed like a little businessy guy. Like somebody who maybe works in the Bureau of Standards, which
maybe. I mean, that does link to the Empire. Maybe he feels that's his best way to help.
Well, Denise she kind of laughs at Cyril's strange infatuation with Deidre. Then she said, there's a lot of middle-aged men who like Deidre. I'll leave it at that. And I get a lot of women sending me footage of themselves dressed as Deidre, walking in and out of rooms and drinking coffee, which I found inspiring and unnerving.
Okay.
Her fan interaction with playing Deidre has been a little awkward.
What is it with middle-aged men having a thing for her?
I don't know.
I mean, Cyril's a much younger guy, so...
We don't know how old Cyril is.
Cyril, he's younger. Come on.
We don't know that. Just because he has a baby face doesn't mean he's young.
Well, he's not middle-aged, that's for sure.
Why don't you ask his mama?
He'll always be a baby to her.
I mean, it was interesting because there were definitely some interesting parallels between her being a female working in a male-dominated workplace. But I liked how they handled it because they made sure to not say, oh, it's because she's a woman that she's having a hard time or whatever. It was because she comes from a different department, a department that works very differently than the secretive ISB.
Yeah. Yeah, they never go there in the series.
No, they never go there.
You can make that assumption if you want, but that's
never... You could look at it as a parallel. All right, with that, let's move on to New This Week and Star Wars, etc. Starting out on Wednesday, because we got nothing else going on until then. For comics, we have Darth Vader, Black, White, and Red, number 3, as well as Afra 33, which has possibly Aya Sakuya and Shakti in it.
Yeah, no. It's just a stupid gimmick, I'm sure.
It is a stupid gimmick. To somehow say they're alive during the reign of the Empire. We saw Shakti. Well, we didn't see Shakti die.
A couple times, yeah.
A couple times, but never the canon version. But Aya Sakuya, we saw gunned down on Felucia. Yeah. She's not coming back.
No.
It's a trap. It's a trap. And we also have Secret Invasion Episode 2, which should be running around 50 minutes.
Wow.
Another longer episode, which I am perfectly fine with.
So am I.
Thursday, coming to YouTube from this channel, the next of the prelude to the Ahsoka series, going over characters you may or may not be familiar with heading into the show. This week we're featuring Kanan Jarrus, who will not most likely not be in the Ahsoka show because reasons that you'll find out by watching our video.
Especially if Jason Segura is in there.
Yes.
I kind of mentioned that.
He is a big part of Hera's life, a big part of Sabine's life. He's a huge part of Ezra's life. And so he very well could be mentioned within the show, so we're going to give you some tidbits on who the heck is that guy, just in case they talk about him.
I'm sure they will.
He might be a secret surprise, because it's cool. And we also will have our weekly voice chat at 8 p.m. Central Time. Friday, dun 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 dun, Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones hits the theaters.
Yeah, we'll be seeing it on Friday.
Yeah, I'm not working that day, so...
So yeah, we'll see it, probably review it on the other channel. I think that's... something I want to talk about over there. I don't know. We'll see.
But I'll be over there then too.
Yeah, you'll.
I'll be throwing my 2 cents in. There. I'll be morbing in.
But yeah, for now, that's all we got for you this time. So now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of any and all of today's news. And let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.